fellow councillors, staff and residents viewing via live stream. Good afternoon all and welcome to this special meeting. All councillors are present and Councillor Pervin is phoning in. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land on which we stand, the Gulnay people. I wish to acknowledge my respect for their current and emerging elders and those in dreaming. I thank them for the contributions they have made in building this community. Apologies. We have apologies from Justin Fisher, Adam Sadler and Kelly Slattery. Are there any further apologies, councillors? I'll take that as a no. Declaration of prescribed conflict of interest or declarable conflict of interest. Please use this opportunity to make public any prescribed conflict of interest or declarable conflict of interest in respect of the items in the agenda. Councillors should use this opportunity to disclose and or comment on other councillors and or staff interests in accordance with the Act and the regulations. Any conflicts to declare? I'll take that as a no. Okay, we're now going to close the meeting to the public and it's a confidential item, one of item 1.1, contract number CCW 000202, the Calendar Park drainage upgrade. Would somebody move we close the meeting to the public? Moved by Councillor Chewy, seconded by Councillor Barnes. All in favour? Councillor Bourbon? Yep, that's unanimous. Okay. Okay, councillors, we'll reopen the meeting to the public. Would somebody move so? Councillor Chewy moves, seconded by Councillor McLeod. All in favour? Nick?
Yes.
That's carried unanimously, thank you. And I'll hand over to Mr Goodman to speak to item 1.1, contract number CCW 000202, the Calendar Park drainage upgrade. Mr Goodman.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, with a very small indulgence, I'd just like to thank councillors for making themselves available on a Friday afternoon to consider this this tender. The reason we've asked you to facilitate this is to expedite the award of this contract in a so that we can deliver this, minimising the risk of any flooding issues to the Innisfail community. So I thank you for that. Also, I'll just add, I know you acknowledged Mr. Fisher as an apology for today, but personally, I'd just like to. It's probably unlikely that he's watching the live stream, but I'd like to acknowledge the great work he's done for this council, and yeah, this will be the last report from Mr. Fisher. Councillors, the purpose of this report is for Council to consider the submitted tenders and award contract number CCW 000202 Calendar Park Drainage Upgrade. There is a existing 485 metre long, 3.05 metre by 1.8 metre reinforced concrete box culverts. This drain commences at Marina Lakes, crosses Ernest Street and runs beneath Calendar Park Sporting Complex, crosses also goes underneath the tennis courts, crosses Fitzgerald Esplanade and outfalls to the Johnson River. The last section of that is around 60 metres, is in very, very poor condition. And given the strategic importance of this drainage network to a significant part of Innisfail, the intent is to renew that last section of these culvert structures to ensure that stormwater is not failing and doesn't adversely affect a significant part of the community. Tenders, so we're talking about, I think I said that already, about 60 metres of these culverts. It does also include, the project does also include, the flood protection structure on the end of the culvert. The works consist of removal of marine deposits below the foundation, placement of improved fill, installation of base slab and culverts, installation of this new floodgate, backfilling and restoration of surface treatments, including road and tennis courts. The contractor will be required to undertake design of any temporary works, including water management, dewatering, benching, battering and shoring. As I alluded to earlier, it's imperative. It is imperative that we facilitate construction during the driest part of the year to absolutely minimise the potential impact to flooding in Innisfail. 19th of May, Council call tenders. Closed on the 20th of June 2022. 3 conforming tenders were received. And from there I'll move on to the recommendation. The recommendation is that the lump sum tender for contract CCW 000202 Calendar Park Drainage Upgrade, as submitted by CCUS Proprietary Limited, being the most advantageous to Council, be accepted. And in accordance with the Local Government Act 2009, Council delegate authority to the Chief Executive Officer to enter into a contract, negotiate, finalise and execute any and all matters associated with or in relation to the contract, subject to Council's existing procurement policies and practices. And that Council note the CCUS Proprietary Limited tendered amount is $1,782,387.57, excluding GST. I should have pointed out to councillors that the overall project budget is just a little over 2.5 million. The council has already expended a significant amount of expenditure with survey and design and purchase of the culverts and in advance to make sure that on award of this contract, construction can start pretty much straight away.
Thank you, Mr. Goodman. Any questions for the officer? Councillor Barnes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Firstly, congratulations to your department, Mr. Goodman, on a big change I've seen in recent years. Mainly meaning in layman's terms, you're out there purchasing the products which our tenderers need to use, and we know since COVID especially how hard products are to get. So congratulations on having the products, the pipes, everything on board, and then let's call it. The last thing we want to do is give this tender to someone and we got all the excuses in the world on supply. And second question is just explain the contract period for the works, please.
Contract period for this contract is 22 weeks. There's actually two portions to this contract, and there is within that, at the start of the contract, an 8-week period where the high-risk works in demolition and construction of the culvert works are required, again to minimise the risk of flooding in the community.
On that subject of demolition, I note in the consultation, council staff have spoken to the tennis club and Brothers League Club. Clearly, there's going to be a big impact on the tennis club because that court is slumping now. What was the response from the two sporting clubs?
So the I don't need to go through the chair. I'm addressing the chair. Sorry. So both clubs are on board. They've been briefed. They known about this project for some time. Of course, there is impact, but we really appreciated. That they're not always. It's not a project that they would have liked us to be delivering if there was alternatives, but they've both been very good, understood the importance of this project, and we've appreciated their support.
Thanks, Mr. Goodman. Any further questions for the officer? I'd just like to acknowledge the loyal and dedicated service of Justin Fisher. I think he's been with us about 6 to 7 years. We've enjoyed working with him. When he came in, he educated us around asset management plans. AMP, back in the day, I thought it was an insurance company, but no, it's asset management plans. And what does that mean? Whole of life costing depreciation. He gave us a real understanding of those particular components of every project we fund. That was good education for me. And I also want to highlight the work he put into our asset rationalisation process. It was a difficult period when we went to the community. The rumours were that the bulldozers had been fueled up and they were ready to charge in and knock assets over. That didn't happen. There's been a set of principles adopted under Justin's management, and every club and organisation's been fully consulted. And what we're finding now is we're getting many clubs with their leases and management agreements up to date. Some had lapsed. And I acknowledge Mark Valendi's work in that area as well, on the legal side. But we are now starting to put new projects back on the ground. It's not just about asset rationalisation. We're taking away underutilised assets, but we're putting things back like pump tracks. So I think it's a great outcome, and a lot of that was the drive that Justin Fisher brought to this organisation. And on behalf of my fellow councillors, I'd just like to record our thanks. If there's no further comments or questions, would somebody please move the recommendation? Moved by Councillor Baines, seconded by Councillor McLeod. All in favour? Nick? Councillor?
Yes.
Yep, that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Meeting closed. What time is it? 4:14. Meeting closed 4:14. Thanks, staff.